We are on the way to Bath. So this shop is on the way to Bath. As I just said, it's on the way to Bath.
So this shop, by all accounts, is on the way to Bath.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, look who that is. Who the heck's that?
I had to go in before Austin because he spends about 20 hours flinging with his flanging.
I'm putting my GoPro on
takes so long.
Like the remote professional I'm trying to be, but you don't care.
I don't care, no, that's exactly right.
And all you do is stand there and mug me for the footage.
Austin found this dress. Well, I found this Preview. Preview is a brand from a human called
Bethany.
Jake Cool. He used to be on Anyways Essex, but the brand actually does stock the Selfridges, but we'll talk more about it later. Austin found this knit dress. It's 100% merino wool knit. It's a maxi length dress. It's from a brand called Heibiaust. It's German. It's a German brand. That was
impressive because that sounds almost right.
I think it is right.
I'm not saying you're not right, but I don't.
There are very limited comps for the UK, but there are a lot of comps for the US. And because of how cool, it was a cool item.
It was awesome.
So I'm going to give it a wing.
Give it a wing. The fabric, the style, the length, just like that. Even that pleat in the centre, it's not cheaply made.
This would be described as like a lug look brand, and all the listings insinuate that and have it as a keyword in the title. It is £10. Here are some examples of some American comps.
Yeah, see? Craziness. So the actual shapes you can see very large.
Yeah, but I still think this item that we picked up is better.
Well, to be fair, the oversized dresses and the kind of, especially in black, always like more plain, but still the silhouette is right.
Maybe someone's waiting for me to upload that one in the UK.
Maybe they are.
And our keyword look, merino wool, asymmetrical, pleated.
I'm not going to record and say I don't even remember if we bought that or not because we've bought so much.
We've bought that for £10. Yeah.
I know that now because you said someone's waiting to put it up.
I'm going to aim for 80 to 100 on it.
Cool. I think it's a solid piece. Yeah. I think the shape alone would sell it, to be honest.
We also found this other piece, which I think is from the same person, but this unfortunately wasn't branded, despite how much I looked and I tried.
Like that's a piece of fabric right there, isn't it? That looks like you have a rug.
Yeah, it's humongous, and that is one of like the key sort of characteristics of this Largan look kind of style is oversized, layered, that kind of thing. We found these. These are really interesting. These are Nudie Jeans. Nudie Jeans Company is a jeans company. Jeans retail quite high, between 150 and 200.
So these were just totes, yeah?
And they were totes that the jeans would have come in, but the denim ones, if you find the denim ones, they go for about 30 to 40.
So they were promo totes, but what you're saying is the actual totes themselves would go for good money.
This is Preview. That's the logo. They have slightly changed it now, but that's the most common. Tailoring and sort of overcoats go for the best money. Leather goods and also shoes to be on the lookout for. We haven't had a huge amount of luck with the brand. However,
it does retail high.
It retails high, but I feel like it's not well known enough. Like brands like Max Mara, Fendi, all those things that have a database, a following, a cult.
100%. And I think, like you say, you buy this stuff new or you don't buy it.
Yeah.
Like unless you own like 12, like he does, like a stylish jog suit if you want. Unless you own 12 and you want an extra one, find it kind of used. I don't think that's something you buy pre-owned. Specifically the more tailored stuff as well, like you say.
Do I think it will be a future brand? Yes, I do.
Possibly, yes, I do.
It's a grower, if that makes sense. The Couples jeans, I love finding the Couples. Prefer picking up things that have sort of more of a grunge edge, a more rock and roll.
Studded
holes, skulls, anything sort of like that. We had a Western shirt, which we picked up in a Taunton video. That sold very quickly.
I would say if it's from the Couples and it looks like it's like what I call All Saints on steroids.
Yes.
It's kind of that vibe, isn't it? You're kind of punk.
Austin found this and I was depressed about the price. It's
their iconic stripe too, isn't it?
Oh, great, Austin. It was a cashmere blend. It wasn't cashmere. It had a tiny bit of resistance to it in terms of shrinkage, but nothing too serious. But it was a small. I did think about it for a long time. It was £25. There is money to be had. Are the profit margins where I want them to be? No, and that's okay. Sometimes it's okay to say no. This is a really interesting brand, Engineered Garments, also very popular in the States. However, you want to focus more on the chore workwear kind of vibes, if that makes sense.
Exactly that.
Also £25 in this shop, so it was more expensive also. This is all about brown.
I was going
to say all about bear, but I don't know why. All about brown.
I always say all about brown. All about brown, yeah. What was I going to say? This is a t-shirt, striped t-shirt, long sleeve.
£5. It's a no-brainer, isn't it, really?
Like, it's good size too. Going back to the engineered garment stuff as well, I think one of the things which is important to note at the moment, because utility wear is flying off the shelves, anything with a brand or kind of, not historic necessarily, but the kind of the brand is suited towards those kind of styles, pick up, it will sell.
Yeah, it's more style-based. We found something really cool today, which will be coming up in a future video.
Oh, yeah.
They're really cool.
Yeah.
But it's one of those areas to really look up at the moment. I think it's been having a moment for a while. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say, look, suddenly it's on the up and up. I think it's one of those sort of staple things that people buy.
I'll actually go on record and say, do you know what? Workwear, kind of like French inspired kind of workwear, if you will, that kind of era has been like prevalent the last couple of years. Even like people like H&M and people like that are producing it now. But what I would actually say, which I think is very interesting, is the fact that you've got a lot of high-end companies now going that route as well.
Yes.
And I think Toast is actually one of the ones which kind of was a kind of a pusher of that kind of stuff.
100%. I also, when Austin was paying for the All About Brown, I did spot something hanging behind the desk. They were some Rundolph's black labels. I put in an example here of patterned trousers from the brand, and what they tend to go for based on different styles, different patterns, etc., etc. These are really cool because they got the Queen's face on. Obviously, the Queen,
no longer here,
departed the earth.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and they were £25. See, this is a case of we were willing to pay up. Rundolph's black label sells really Rundholt's black label sells really fast for us, firstly. Yep. Secondly, these were a standout piece with the graphic, the telephone on the back, very like English vibes. And I think internationally, like Japan, the Japanese market,
would feel it was British.
Yeah.
Even though it's very kind of, to be fair, it's quite Japanese styling.
On the title, and they're a large size as well. On the tag, they did put that they had checked them on eBay and they were going for about £80. Now, obviously, we couldn't find the exact ones on eBay, so I think they just did an average of what things were listed for. But as you can see there from the solds are a lot higher than what they found. You have to understand, as hardcore resellers, as I'm sure you all are watching, is that you know how to look at comps in more depth than most charity shop managers or workers.
Exactly.
I'm not saying all, I'm saying, but generally, most people will do a blanket, search the brand, see what they're listed for.
And listen, that's not a terrible thing. They haven't gone and said they were £200, or they haven't, by the same token, said they're 10. So
but don't take it as gospel. That's what I'm saying. When they put an estimated eBay price.
I would always, if you don't know, check yourself for sure before buying, especially at that kind of price in a charity shop.
Big love to this shop. Honestly, it's cash only.
No prices.
They're so cheap. They have like a rough price of what they want for each item. It's Bath's Women's Refuge. It's it's not at the top of town. It's hard to explain, but Google it. It's well worth visiting. And obviously, it's like I personally think it's an amazing cause. And
Same.
Something that isn't your
we always spend well, even if there's nothing to spend on. I'll be honest, just because it is an outstanding cause.
We rounded up on this occasion as well. And that's how we choose to do it. Anyway, this was a Hush dress. I know, stay away from Hush. I can't help myself, because if you saw it, was a really cool A-line dress with a ruffle bottom, 2 double layers. It's got the cami underneath. Anyway, it was £4. I can't say no. We're expecting about 25 to 30. I'm going to push to 30. I don't know what I'm saying.
That was a Paul
30
Smith.
To 35.
That was a Paul Smith shirt with collar funk, so we left it. And guess what, folks? I didn't touch the funk, so leave me alone.
He thought about it.
No,
this was a Wrangler, Repro Wrangler. It's not Repro Wrangler, it's Wrangler, but it's a new
style of an old one.
Vintage. Does
yeah,
that make
exactly
sense?
that.
Super cool, but I like to pick up the vintage ones. That's just my personal preference. But we left it there. If anyone's interested, should still do a good 25 to 30.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah, it's a good a bread and butter piece if that's of your interest or
I believe it had
new brands.
Pearl Schnapps.
This is a majestic Villagers. Anyway,
great coat.
This is a quilted blazer, and they're known for blazers. This is quilted. I haven't put any comps on for this because they were all American. I didn't want to over American you. But this is listed in America for about £140. The UK comps are a bit lower. So obviously
Allow for that.
You know what I'm going to do.
Push those
I'm going to put it up for
comps.
about 140, 150 and cross-list it over to Vestiaire. This is my dance. I speeded it up so no one had to look at it.
Second black label of the day, and it's all on Bethany.
I found it on the rail. I did a celebratory dance, and then I realised that I probably looked really stupid.
I like the fact you sped it up. It made it the comedic timing and genius that you own on that.
I made it really slow at start, and then I thought, no, that is just too much. Anyway, so this is like an asymmetric tunic top. It's got like the roll hem edges, that big fickle black label. Research the labels they do
Banger
because
after banger.
it's good to know. This is Velvet by Graham & Spencer, another high-end brand that gets a little bit underestimated. Did have a stint in Anthropology, but I really do like this PJ look, this stripe, this candy stripe, if you will.
Indeed. These tights, they're everywhere. Don't buy them. They don't go for a lot of money and they don't sell.
You can, but I would bundle them for vintage shops and things to buy.
Yeah, I suppose like if you got 6 or 7 pairs and you paid like maybe 50 pence each, you can make some money. It's just long and knit.
It's just because they're not in vogue. People don't particularly wear them.
When we first started reselling years and years and years ago, I think it was one of the first kind of what I'd call luxury items we came across. Yeah. And we kept coming across and we were like, there's got to be a reason that they're all sat there. Like, it's not like just once in a blue moon.
People wear them, if that makes sense.
Go on eBay, anyway, now, I promise you there's loads of them, and it's just, they just don't sell like that.
All the tops are £3, all the dresses were £4, and
I spotted these.
A lady dropped these in while we were in the shop, and we pounced on them. These are Palladium, they make really good boots and shoes.
They make that kind of Converse utility vibe boot, which you'd know if you saw. Google it if you don't. And these are from the same brand. The brand is a killer brand. They're expensive. And how much do they retail?
70 retail. Should we get about 35 to 40 back in time for summer, I reckon?
And we paid what?
They were £3.
£3, yeah.
On to the next. And there's a Julian House also on this road, which can be pricier. So we left it in to show you the difference in the Bath shops. Some are more reasonable. Some you have to hunt a bit harder. This one is, they do the hunting for you.
Yeah.
But there is a healthy commission for the pleasure.
I actually think this shop as well, they have more what I'd call like generic high-end brands. So the brands you'd expect in Bath, whereas like, for example, that shop you just went in, I know we picked up a few different bits, like Hush, for example, but a lot of those brands wouldn't necessarily be on your bucket list if you weren't into reselling and clothing.
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily recognise the run holes or
yeah, exactly,
100%. But it's nice to see the brands. I have to say that I'm not for the haterade. It's nice to see all the different brands, and it's good. If anything else, you just see it as market research, learning different what brands command money.
Exactly that.
Obviously, because they've done their research or their Googling or whatever, so that there's going to be a reason for the prices being that high. Sometimes there isn't. I'm not going to lie to you, but
yeah, sometimes they're mental for no reason. I think once again, like even as resellers, sometimes we are kind of, if we see a brand, we're like that was going to sell for loads of money. And I think the same is to be said for a charity shop. From one to the next, there might be. We've seen Stella McCartney, Adidas put up for £200 in charity shops, whereas realistically it was never that retail because they think it's Stella McCartney,
Although Stella McCartney is Adidas is actually very expensive,
You see what I'm saying, though?
Yeah,
it's not £200 for a vest, is it?
No. Anyway, so it's something to be aware of. This was 100% cashmere. It was by a brand called Mur and Osborne, and it was actually gorgeous. Like, it was really nice. It was £40. I looked it up, and it is an independent brand. No eBay comps, or very little eBay comps on the top of my head. It was very hard to navigate their actual website because it was such an independent brand.
That's so weird.
And they were expensive, like £200 roughly. But for something that's relatively unknown or niche.
That's a large chunk of change to sit on eBay.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, on the flip side of that, what is this?
It's Essential Antwerp for £50.
Okay, wow. Nice dress, though, nonetheless. Is that lace? Yes, lace. It's lace kind of right through the centre.
But, once again, maybe you stick that brand on your list of brands to look out for.
For sure.
Or brands to look up on Vinted, or to try and grab a bargain elsewhere.
Yeah, agree. What I was going to say though, back to the indie brands, you said about it maybe it's a little bit much to pick on and pick up. I think on the flip side of that, a lot of the time you'll find that those brands, if someone does want them though, and they maybe don't want to spend £200 online. Those indie brands people do go to eBay for. We've saw a lot of American indie brands specifically. We do really well with.
This is actually really fun. This is a Disney dress, and it's got all the villains and the velvet and the, what do you call that? The
print.
It begins with B though. The print that Versace uses.
Baruch?
Yes, I was gonna. I didn't want
Baruch?
to slaughter it.
I think I have.
On a side note, I'm not going to go into Disney too much because it's not that, it's not our kind of thing. But as self-confessed Disney goers, we do go to Disney. If you find any of their Cherry Tree Lane dresses, which is like they're like boutique dresses, they're really expensive.
Really expensive, yeah.
And they're normally film themed around the films, but not the films. They're worth picking up. Max Mara, 120. Yeah, okay, it was full label. It was actually a very nice dress
with a belt.
With a belt. It's sort of like silk, but it's like, what's the word for it? It's structured.
Yeah.
It's very nice. It's 150.
Listen, it was a well-constructed dress. It was a great fabric, and it was a great brand. But 150.
For resale.
For resale, yeah.
And I think that's very important to keep in mind. We're not, although we do for ourselves, we're not, we have an emphasis on resale. If you're new to the channel, we buy to sell in most cases. Sometimes we buy for ourselves. So a lot of the time we do buy for ourselves. So when we spat off all this information, it's keeping that in mind.
Yeah, like don't take it that we're being too negative all the time. But once again, we are coming from a point of view as a reseller.
100%.
That's kind of how it is.
And that was Bath. We will do a haul because we picked up a few more things after the camera stopped rolling. And that will be coming tomorrow.
Awesome. Tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye.